What can really happen if you have a sort of a relapse of mental health problems, that kind of thing? Well, I'm going to tell you exactly. Let's check it out. Hi guys, back again. Hope you're well. Thank you for coming back and sharing this with me. If you are, if you're not, then you wouldn't really hear me saying that. So, getting back to how I like to do things in a kind of properly mental, crazy, stupid, but fun way. So, are you ready to laugh? If you have a bit of a relapse, what the sort of things involve. So, this happened to me, as you know, last week. Everything was kind of going relatively okay, to be fair. And as I've said, and I haven't mentioned for a while, I've had a lot of kind of inspiration and a lot of help, if you could say, from the lovely Gemma Stone. Yeah, everything was amazing and kind of just rocking it. Daily vlogging, all the good stuff. Happy, happy, joy, joy. I did say that the channel was kind of going off a different tangent than I wanted, but that all aside. But then literally, out of nowhere, this weird feeling just kind of come up. So one day, on the Wednesday, everything was fine and groovy, normal, maybe a little bit tired, fine. But the Thursday morning, woke up with this like, this horrible feeling of dread and terror almost. You know, that's the only way I can really describe it. It's just this horrible kind of nauseous, horrible feeling. I thought, oh, you know, I just didn't quite know why or what, or was I ill? Was it sort of food poisoning or something? You know, it was just horrible. And so I went to work and just sort of arriving there, it just didn't feel right.
No, sir, I don't like it.
And I kind of shut down, as people probably saw. If you were there, you'd see I sort of shut down and went very, very internal. Gave all the excuses that I was having this sort of bad headache, which by the end of the day I did, and I said that before, but literally just sort of shut in. And it's the only way I could really handle it, because it just felt there was sort of nothing, if you like. And it's a weird feeling, and if you have experienced this, please leave a comment below, because you can at least understand what I mean. If you haven't, hopefully this will explain, one, what I was like, but also if you know someone else who may be going through a similar thing, or you might recognize the symptom in someone to maybe help them. But I kind of sort of shut down. I tried on occasion to kind of have a conversation with people, but it was half-hearted. It wasn't really an effort, and it just didn't feel right. That I just did not want to speak to anyone. I didn't want to be there. But I kind of knew I had to, because I was working. I didn't want to take lunch, and I didn't take lunch because that meant going and sitting in a room without sort of work to focus on. So it means I'd probably have to speak to people. And, you know, I'm not going to be an arsehole about it. If someone's talking to me, I'm not just going to ignore them. But I just didn't want that situation. Hence, I just faced down in the computer all day to the end, and then sort of went home. It was tough, and many a time I wanted to get up and leave, just because I just felt this sort of pressure, not pressure from work or pressure from other people or anything like that, but it was pressure almost from my own head, just sort of, no way to really describe it properly. It's like there's lots of sort of noise going on and just hardly any room to think outside of just, and so that's why I'm just concentrating so hard on what I was doing. And I think I made a few fuck ups in there, confused a few people as well with some random conversations and things. It's almost like a migraine, but more psychological, if that makes any sense. And yeah, and then getting home, it was, you know, Friday I was kind of home, and I don't know, it just sort of spiraled. It just spiraled, and I think this is the problem. If you have had this situation, you will know just how quickly things can just spiral out of control. From being a bit in my head to kind of wanting to end it all in a handful of hours, if not minutes. And it was just bizarre, and it was really almost like being a passenger in my own life, but not in a good way, just sort of in a kind of scary roller coaster, about to sort of go down a big dip thing. And it was like, I was almost observing it, and it was like, what is going on? What? And I was powerless. It's just kind of just snowballed, not snowballed. You get it. And yeah, it's just crazy, and just sort of literally crazy, obviously, and just went on and on and on and on. And you know, it got to the point where, yeah, I was just like, you know, that I can't deal with this anymore. As much as all the logic in the world said, no, that's ridiculous, you know, there's lots of things to live for and all that, I just could not cope with it, just could not handle it. It was only through conversations with an amazing friend that kind of helped me get through it, and here we are. I'm not gonna kind of get overly emotional again, but you know, I'm truly grateful to them.
Thank you.
But it's kind of weird how it suddenly comes on, and that's why when I made the video the next day about it, I was saying, I'm kind of embarrassed. Now, just to explain that, it's not that I was embarrassed about saying how I felt and what happened, because I'm not. I think it's important to share that. One, it lessens the gravity it has on me, but also hopefully it will help someone else. But I was more embarrassed the fact that I was sort of that bad, sort of 12 hours before, and almost saying like,
Oh, I'm fine now, everything's cool.
and then that's why I'm sort of embarrassed, you know. And obviously it's taken me a while to kind of get back on track and get sort of human again. But that's what I meant by the embarrassed side of it, because it's almost like, well, you know, if I'm that bad, how can I suddenly be okay again? And I wasn't okay when I made that video, but I was obviously better than I was the night before. But again, this highlights how things can quickly, you know, move around. And
The mind is a crazy thing when it's crazy.
if you're someone who experiences this sort of situation, then you're more likely to be aware of it, or maybe not. Maybe you'll just have that kind of up and downness and didn't really know. And you know, if that's the situation, I'd definitely recommend going getting things checked out by a doctor, or at least some sort of professional on that side. If you haven't, you see this behaviour in other people, it could be family, friends. Delve in a little bit more, and it doesn't have to be overly oppressive. It can just be sort of just a conversation. Most people may not want that. They're sort of, no, I'm fine. Like I was saying in work,
just got a headache.
but when it's obvious that that's not the case, when it's really obvious that it's not, you know, they are behaving so out of character to what they normally do, there is clearly more going on than what they say, a headache or a bit tired and any of that. So really delve in, because as much as that might be completely against what the other person wants, it might be what they actually need. And all of us, my people, yeah, the mad ones, are very good at sort of going,
No, I'm fine.
when we actually are not fine, and we desperately want someone to help. And for my case, I'm not embarrassed or not ashamed or anything like that to say what's going on and what the problems I'm facing are. Where I have difficulty and I find it hard to handle is I don't like to make other people uncomfortable. And so I know if I start talking about certain things that it's likely, now that's an assumption, that's making assumptions, I know. I feel it's likely to make the other people very uncomfortable and not know what to do and feel a bit awkward, and I don't want that. So I'd rather almost suffer in silence and not make them feel awkward. So it's not sort of embarrassment for myself, it's almost embarrassment for other people, which is not healthy. I know I'm saying I'm fine, or people say they're fine, but actually they're not fine and they need help. And my plea is, if you do see people or someone you know and they're acting very much out of character, and you know there could be a potential either history or a chance there could be something going on up here, then do your best to help them in some way. Now it might be, you know, can you come and help me somewhere away from other people, and then so you're not speaking to them directly in front of like 50 people. If you get them on your own and explain things, then there's a good chance that they will open up and hopefully then get the help they need. But again, if it's you, if you need the help, just get someone, just grab someone. And I'm my own worst enemy for this, because it's something I won't do, but I'm learning to more and more. But just go and get someone who, obviously someone you trust as a friend, but just get them. Don't worry about what it's going to do to them. Just think about, you know, if you need help, if you're in that dire situation, then just, you know, just get help, just get someone, anyone. Because even if they can't help, they might be able to get someone else who can at least get you out of the danger zone and prevent anything bad happening. So that's a kind of, even though I've kind of basically just repeated what I did in the other video, it's a kind of an idea or a glimpse into what it's like to have sort of a relapse. I mean, it's, I don't know as how well that would come across.
I don't know.
It can just happen like that, and it threw me completely. It totally threw me, because I've had kind of ups and downs since everything went bang last November, but nothing that bad. And said it was completely out the blue, and one day to the next it was like that, and it was like, really, it just sideswiped me totally, because nothing had happened, no one had said anything, there wasn't an event, nothing, you know, specifically triggered it that I'm consciously aware of. But it was, yeah, pretty damn mental, obviously. So hopefully that's given you an insight into the bigger picture of what happened last week, and that hopefully give you some sort of insight into what you can maybe do to help someone that you know, or yourself, what you can maybe do if you sort of feel that sort of thing coming on. But I said, yeah, leave a comment below if you've had experience with that kind of thing where everything seemed to be fine, and then suddenly bang, you've been sort of knocked for six, and you're really just like, what's going on? Because the more people you tell, the more people you reach out to, the better. And that's what I've found, that's what I've found and continue to find, you know, amazing people around me. And yeah, and so I now need to get back into the kind of mental crazy, I keep saying mental, but you get the idea, mental crazy world that is my world, back to sort of the vlogs how I used to like making them, all the ridiculous stupid stuff.
Hey baby.
So if you got some value out of this, as always, smash that like button till it's nice and blue. And I've moved the subscribe pillar for the moment. At the moment I've now got a chicken. More on the chicken another day. Long story, but it involves the kids and Thailand. That sounds very dodgy. But for now I will say thank you for coming on this journey. If you haven't subscribed, I'd love you to. You can then get some more information and videos like this, and hopefully videos better than this going forward, and hit the bell notification if you want to know exactly the second the video comes out, because that will be amazing. But for now I will say goodbye and see you tomorrow. Bye bye.
Thanks again for watching, guys. I really do appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed already, make sure you do so down here, and check out my other video down here. Remember, live your best life. See you next time. Bye bye.